As the U.S. presidential election enters its final week, the American Jewish vote remains a decisive factor in the so-called swing states. The states such as Florida, Ohio, and Pennsylvania, which must be won in order to secure the election. Therefore, American Jewish citizens living both at home and abroad are playing an increasingly important role in the upcoming U.S. elections. The state of Israel, home to over 120,000 eligible U.S. voters, mostly registered in the decisive swing states, could therefore have a very real impact on the turnout of the 2008 elections. Accordingly, the nonpartisan Vote from Israel organization has boosted its efforts to track down every U.S. citizen residing in Israel and bring them to the ballot box.
It's important for all Americans to vote everywhere. It's our democratic right. Not all countries have that right for their citizens who live overseas. Particularly in Israel, we have large representation from key swing states such as Ohio, Florida, and Pennsylvania, which no president since 1960 was elected without winning 2 out of those 3 states.
Yet American citizens living in Israel are deeply divided over which presidential candidate to support, with both sides arguing that their candidate is the best choice for both America and Israel.
I think foreign policy is definitely very important in people's minds here in Israel. And to a great extent, America's foreign policy vis-a-vis Israel is obviously foremost in their minds. Otherwise, they likely wouldn't be here. In addition to that, though, I think this election in particular, there are issues involved that are so global and so large, so big, and so important. It would be a hard election to vote on a single issue.
Well, I think with respect to Iran, Obama said, and it's on tape, it's on record, that he would meet with Ahmadinejad or the leaders of Iran without any preconditions. I don't think that would help in terms of giving credibility to Ahmadinejad. And as far as dealing with the Palestinian question and the Arab aggression surrounding Israel, I think Obama would be much more even-handed and less supportive of Israel, which is the only democracy in the Middle East.
People like Reverend Wright and Bill Ayers and so on, my instinct is that he is kind of mouthing the right things to say for the Jewish or pro-Israel constituency in order to make sure he doesn't alienate.
Even though I think that McCain is a better candidate for Israel in terms of his political clout and how he's going to back Israel, I think the best thing for the United States right now is Obama. And if the United States is strong, then Israel is going to be strong in turn.
Whether it be John McCain or Barack Obama, most Americans living in Israel agree that foreign policy, and especially the candidate's perspective on Iran, top their agenda and help determine their vote. And while the American community in Israel may seem small, as the 2000 Florida recount showed, a few hundred votes could make all the difference.